what's up, everybody? It's Amy O, where we grow through what we go through, coming at you in Life Redesigned. And hey, I wanted to drop in today to talk about a couple different ways to build that stellar confidence that you've been looking to build. And you guys know me, those of you that have been watching my videos, you know I like to keep things really, really, really simple. So I'm going to do the same thing today. I'm going to keep it super simple. And I'm actually really glad I'm talking about this subject today, just based off a couple of things that happened in my personal life. So this is like really hitting home to me today. So let's dive into it and let's talk about two ways that we can build some stellar confidence. Let's first talk about what confidence is. So the actual definition of confidence is that feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. So it's just like that firm trust. Also, the state of feeling certain about the truth of something, as well as a feeling of self-assurance coming from one's appreciation of their own abilities or qualities. So let's break that down just a little bit more. So we are looking at the feeling or the belief that I can actually rely on someone or something. So it's a firm trust in myself, knowing that I have more, that I have confidence, right? So that confidence lies, if I'm thinking about confidence of myself, that I've got firm trust that I can rely on myself. That's what confidence is for me. It's also the state, like the state of feeling certain or truthful about something. And we're going to talk a lot about that one today. And it's also the self-assurance. So confidence is reassuring ourselves of what we already know that we can accomplish, what our abilities are, and what our qualities are. Okay. So let's take a little bit of a deep dive into those few things and how we can actually, as you guys know, my acronym of KISS, keep things very, very, very simple. So KISS stands for keep it simple, silly, or keep it super simple, the way I like to break it down. So the thing about confidence is that it's really important for us to have as we go through life. So often confidence can be related to, arrogance or like almost like a negative thing that people can have. And we don't often see it in more of a positive light. So the cool thing is that confidence can actually prepare us for what life has to throw at us. So it's really important that we do build our confidence and that we do pay attention to what our personal confidence looks like, because it's actually going to help us prepare for what life, for the things, the events, the things that life throws at us. So usually what happens is, we might prepare for something like a speech, right? So the way that we build confidence for a speech is that what do? We practice over and over and over again, right? So that we know when we have to deliver that speech that we are confident because we have prepared that we are going to do that very thing, right? So after we prepare that speech, or rather before we prepare that speech, we are confident that we are going to do a really good job. Okay. The other thing that we might prepare for is something like a game. So maybe we prepare for a softball game and we go to the hitting clinic and we hit and we hit and we hit and we hit, we practice, right? So that prepares us for the game. We've got confidence, we build confidence for the game. So what tends to happen is we forget that we need to do this in life. So why do we do this with the events or teams or speeches or practice or whatever it might be? But we forget to do this in just our everyday life of living, because what often happens is life throws us curveballs. We all know that. We're never ready for them. Life never goes as planned. And what tends to happen when we see the curveballs or when we feel that, we get frustrated. We get very discouraged. We can even get depressed, and that can lead to a lot of other things. Anxiety can creep into our lives, and then what happens is we start to self-sabotage, and we can't find our confidence. So by preparing confidence and working on confidence in our life, confidence is the thing that nudges us to keep going. Confidence is the thing that when things don't maybe go our way, it's the thing that's like, hey, knock, 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 knock. Let's keep going. Let's try again. Let's see if this might work. Let's pivot over here. Confidence is that belief. So it's funny that we're talking about this today, because last night I was watching the movie Rocky. My son recently went to Philadelphia, climbed the Rocky stairs with a bunch of cool pictures. And, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I failed as a mother because we've never watched the movie Rocky. So we watched the movie Rocky last night. We watched him climb up the stairs, do the whole thing. And my son was videotaping it and sending it to some of his lacrosse friends. And it was cool. And then I ended up talking to him about how that movie was made. And it ended up talking about, Sylvester Stallone, how he brought the movie to a bunch of different people, and how a bunch of those different people said no, that they weren't, that they weren't going to direct it and they weren't going to produce it. And he just kept going. Like, the confidence in him, he was like, I know this is a great story. I know this is going to be a great film. I know. Well, he finally found somebody that believed in his content. He finally found somebody. So he had $106 in the bank. He found somebody to offer him back then in the 1970s, $300,000, but only for the script. To which they said, you cannot star in the movie. So his thing was that when he brought it to directors, he said, here's my script. I know it's a great story. And I also know that you also have to hire me as the star, because I know that I can do a good job. So finally a director said, okay, I'll take your script, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take you. So I'll give you $300,000 for your script, but you can't star in it. So back in the 1970s, $300,000 that's like $1 million today. Sylvester Stallone had $106 in his bank account and he turned it down. Why? Because his confidence of practicing the part, of rewriting the script, and knowing that it was exactly what he wanted it to be, and knowing that it was going to be great, was so high that it nudged him to keep going and going and going and going and trying and trying and trying again. Okay. How cool is that? So I love that story because it shows us the realm of what confidence can do. And later on, that entire series has sold for over $1 billion. So kind of cool to think, like, we forget about this. We forget about working it in our everyday lives. Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about 2 ways to build it. One important way, and there's more than 2 ways, but these are just 2 that I love and wanted to share. But one way is to track your progress. So, I talk a lot about action. Those of you that have been watching my videos and are in my group, I talk a ton about action. But it's really important to track your progress, because what happens is we often forget where we come from when we are frustrated about where we are not. How many of you today, raise your hand or say me in the comments below, how many of you are comparing yourself to somebody out there because you want something, or you're not in a place where you, think that you should be, or whatever it might be, and you're comparing yourself, right? Yeah. I mean, hi, like I'm right there with you. Like I've done it. I'm definitely guilty of it. And the thing is like, this is where confidence comes in, right? So when we can sit and track our progress, because what I know to be true, and remember we talked about truth as part of the definition of confidence. So what I do know to be true is I have to remember how far I've come from 3 years ago. So looking at 3 years ago, I've done a lot of deep dive work just in my own personal life that has done, filtered through my business as well. So when I get frustrated, or when I start to kind of go into compare land on social media, or with, mentors of mine or whatever it might be, I have to really like step back and go, okay, what's going to be really good in this moment? It's going to be good if I read this journal entry from 3 years ago that talks about where I was emotionally, where I was physically, you know what I mean? And you're able to see that progress. I mean, even you guys, even in a week, I mean, you can read your journal last week or last month or from 2022, and you can even see the difference of where you are today. And we often forget, because we talk about, last month I talked about baby steps and how important they are. When we're taking all those baby steps, what starts to happen is, because they're baby and they're not this giant leap, baby steps lead to bigger things. And when we maybe hit that goal, we fall short of that goal, which is still a great run to get to that goal, because falling just short of it is a really great thing, because you still aim to get it and you got somewhere and you moved. But we see we forget that we saw those baby steps. The only thing that we see is that we didn't meet that goal. You know what I mean? So it is so important to track your progress somehow. Here is my favorite way to track progress is, I am in a season of life right now where journaling is very difficult for me. So I either voice note myself, or if you come over to my house, I have like charts and visualization and checklists like all over my house. So I have Bible verses all over my house that just remind me of truth every single day, that remind me, of who I am. and things that I need to make sure that I focus on. I have quotes all over my house. Like when I'm turning on the bathroom light, I read an amazing quote that reminds me. I have money affirmations everywhere that I get ready. So I have some where I brush my teeth, I have some where I get my coffee, and I have some where I typically, will take my toddler to the bathroom a million times a day. So I have all those things everywhere to kind of just help remind me and spark those things, and helps to track my progress. When I read those affirmations, when I read those things, and when I do that stuff, I get to track. I can track my progress. What else I am able to do is it helps me understand how far I've come, right? So when I'm able to look at those things, or I'm able to listen to a voice note from, 3 years ago, or a couple months ago, or even last year, it's so helpful to see how far I've come. What a great, great way to have this is to have a coach by your side, somebody that was walking by my side. I could just have people, I shouldn't say one person, because I have a lot of people that mentor me, whether it's in church, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a coach, whether it's a friend, and people, I will often have these conversations, and they will say, gosh, you have just come so far. And sometimes we'll talk about those moments that I was in where it was like, wowzers, like these are some things that are going to have to shift in your life, So it's good for me to be able to hear those things, because it's a constant reminder, and it builds my confidence. Like, oh yeah, this is where I came from, and this is where I am today. This is how far I've come. You know what I mean? So track your progress. It's going to lead to confidence, because you're going to be reminded of all those baby steps that you have done, and all of that hard work that you have done to get yourself to where you are today. Okay. So let's talk about the second one. The second one is to keep to your truth. So one way, or my favorite way to do this, is I like to make a list. I like to make a list of 2 columns. On one column, I label it feelings, and on the other side of the column, or the other column, I label it truth. So I'm a very emotionally person, so I can get very lost in my emotions. I can get wrapped up in that, which then leads to, some super crazy thoughts, especially when I'm really busy, or lack of sleep, or all the things that are happening. And I do this all of the time, and I keep all of my lists, and I look back at them often. So keeping to your truth, making a list of how it is that you feel. How do you feel as you go, how do you feel in this moment? How do you feel with this situation? How do you feel about this event? And then in the other column, what is the truth about that event? What is the truth about this situation? What is the truth about where your life is right now? Okay, let's do an example. Feelings. Okay, my title is Where I'm At in Life Right Now. Feelings. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills to be able to do that. I don't have enough. Let's see. I am inadequate to make any of that happen. Nobody will listen to what I have to say. Okay, those are some feelings. On the truth column, we have, and I'm just doing this for me because it's an example, right? You run a successful business. Your business turned 10. You have a 10-year-old brick and mortar business that you built. This X amount of people are listening to your podcast. Your podcast rate and percentage has gone up every single month since you launched it. What else did I say? Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Do you see how, like, the mind of a mother? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Truth. I'm not good enough. I know the truth that I am good enough in the Lord's eyes, because the Bible tells me that. And I constantly remind myself of those verses that tell me that I am a queen, that I can wear that crown, that I'm one in God's image, and that He loves me. There's no way anybody would ever follow me. I have friends, right? Like, I have friends. I have family that believes in me. I have people at my business that believe in me. I'm a one-on-one coach, and people are asking me to coach them. So they're people that believe in me, right? So you see how the feelings versus the truth, how that's such a big thing. You could do this in relationships. I started, it's a great thing to do in a relationship. So, like, when you have, when you have these feelings in relationships, like, these are the ways that I'm feeling. Okay, what's true about the relationship? And writing that on that side. So I hope that makes sense. Again, because my time is because I'm in a season of life right now of time is just like not something that is on my side, or to sit down for, I shouldn't say time, but like a long chunk of time to sit down and do one thing. As you can see from watching this video, and my toddler is here. Small steps like this and ways to track my progress and ways to keep my truth are something that I do. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you guys. So ways to track my progress. I totally got off on a tangent. Sorry about that. So ways to track my progress. What I was going to say when I said I have like these things all over my house. I love graphs, and I just love really simple charts. So if I'm going to focus on doing something, like I look at the end thing and then I work backwards. So I'm going to give you an example of what's going on right now. So I knew that on this coming Saturday, May 6th, I had to perform a showcase routine. Okay. I knew that I wanted to practice that routine at least 40 times before I do it on stage. What I also know to be true is where I'm at physically in my life right now, it is not possible for me to do that twice in one day because my routine is so hard. And it's also not possible for me to do it every single day because of my kids and schedule and just other obligations that I have. So I knew on May 6th, I wanted to perform a routine that I had done 40 times. There was my confidence builder, right? So that I'm not taking the stage, freaking out, sweating, because if I'm sweating, I can't stick to the pole, but freaking out, sweating, I wanted to make sure I had confidence going up there. So I knew for me, just from, competing and past showcases, because this will be our 15th showcase, I knew that for me, that was going to be confidence for me to take the stage. So I worked backwards. How many days could I be there per week? How many times could I do it in a day? Just one. So I knew that I needed 40 days, minimum 40 days, to be able to do that routine. So I counted backwards, and I just made a little chart, like literally like on a sheet of paper. I don't have a pen by me, but I made like a chart. I do. Let me show you. Okay. So I just made a chart like this, like a calendar, right? Just like a calendar. And as I go through that, and as I go through my 40 days, it's just like check, check, check. And I just check everything off. I track my progress. So if I hit the stage with 39 or 38, right, I'm in good shape, and I aimed for 40, but I've got the confidence because I hit 38. That's really, really awesome. So in order for me to see, like, if I have a bad day running the routine, when I look at that and I go, oh, I'm so frustrated, or I'm not good enough doing this, or I shouldn't be taking the stage. Ding, ding, ding. Hello, I have a video of day one. Let's go back to the video of day one and see what the routine looked like on day one, because guess what? I couldn't even finish it. I didn't have the physicality to finish it. And now I'm finishing it. Hi, like that in itself is so amazing. So track your progress, know your truth, right? So I'm feeling all these things like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous, all this, but the truth is I'm ready. The video is proof. That is truth. So I'm using those two things to build my confidence. And the ending result of that is my confidence is built. So I'm able to take that stage. I'm able to be confident in what I'm doing because I know I can do it. And I know it's going to be great. Does that make sense? So your homework today is, I want you to message me or comment below, but shoot me a DM and let me know what it is that you're working on. Let me know just one way that you're going to track your progress. Let me know just one way that you're going to kind of like stand in your in your truth to build your confidence. Okay. Let me know what's resonating with you right now out of those two, and let me know when you DM me, let me know how you're going to do this. This is so big in our lives, you guys. It's so big, and we need to take advantage of it, and we forget about it so often. All right, y'all. Well, that is it for today. Thanks for joining me and my little one in Life Redesigned, where we grow through what we go through. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.